I'm 50 plus years old right now, and until I'm 90 plus, I don't want to be labeled with any, not even one disease.
Right.
And for me to do that part, I have to have my life completely clean from the get-go, right?
All right, y'all. I'm here with Dr. Patel. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure to be here today.
Yes, thank you. I am excited to talk about this subject because I mentioned before we hit record, the women who listen to this podcast love to learn. And I think this is such a great topic because I think while, I am familiar with glutathione because that's just the world that I'm in, I think a lot of people aren't that very familiar with this specific topic, this specific antioxidant. And you are the master guru of this. So I'm excited for you to share all of your wisdom with us today. Can we start with just the basics? And can you just tell us what is glutathione for those who maybe have never heard about it or don't know what it is?
Okay, perfect. But I want to make sure that I don't want to be get labeled as and glutathione as an antioxidant only because you just mentioned it right now, antioxidant, because people, when they say something about a product or a molecule, then they confine it to a
Sure.
small little
Yep.
space. And I want to
Yep.
make sure that people have an idea about how broad it could be.
Such a great point.
So glutathione, it's a peptide. It's one of the simplest form. It's a three amino acid peptides coming together, produced by humans, and we produce the most abundant peptide that we produce in the human body is glutathione. And so I think it begs a question to us is that we need to find out what it is. Why do we talk about these things? Why does the body produce so much? And it's not about what glutathione is, what it does for us is what people are most interested in. And one thing you already mentioned, it was antioxidant. But there's more than that to glutathione because it's also a massive detoxifier. So the two things that we know of today is a role as an antioxidant, as a role as a detoxifying agent in our body. So we'll discuss more on those two cases. But in a nutshell, it's three amino acids coming together is a small peptide. If you asked me the question 25 years ago, I would have said it's a simple molecule because people had no idea what peptide is.
Hmm.
But now today, peptide is something that people know about it a whole lot more than way before. And so
Hmm.
it's okay to say that it's a peptide that's coming together for us.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the timing of this episode is great because I had a gal come on. By the time this episode goes out, it will have been a few weeks before, but talk about specific peptides. So my audience is familiar with what peptides are. So I think it's great that you mentioned that. And you're right. I think, and I mentioned this in that other episode, I think um it's it's like the whole peptide conversation is kind of a trendy conversation at the moment. And so I think it's kind of a hot topic. So I'm glad that you mentioned that because I think people do resonate with that word. So you mentioned that our body produces it. So can you explain more about that? Is this something that um, we quote get enough of because our body produces? Do we get it from like other sources? How do we get glutathione, the glutathione our body needs?
So glutathione is one of the peptides that a body produces because most peptides that are available in the open market today are called signaling peptide, which are bioregulators.
Right.
They are not usually produced by humans, but they act. They send a signal to the human body to act a certain way, and we behave based on the signaling message that we get from a peptide. Glutathione is a naturally occurring peptide in the human body. And the signal is very profound when it comes inside the body, right? And the signal comes in into multiple ways. Of course, we talked about it. But one of them is it quenches all the free radicals and reduces all the oxidative stress from your body. But it also act as a conjugator to help eliminate known toxins out of our body by binding them and allowing them to become water soluble so you can either pee it out or you can dump it into the intestines and you can poop it out, right? And so to me that is more profound than any other peptides in the world because most peptides out there are just signaling molecule
Right.
versus glutathione is actually produced in human bodies.
Wow, that's that alone, like you said, I think the detoxification aspect is probably one of the most. powerful parts of this conversation because I think
Yeah.
that yeah, just that alone. So, okay, are there others? So, are we also getting the glutathione from other sources? Like, are there foods we eat that like help the body's production of it? Is it just that our body's just naturally making what we need with the glutathione?
The body will make what it needs.
Hmm.
The only thing it needs is the building blocks, right? There are no products in the world that can basically give you glutathione straight to your body to ready to use up.
Gotcha.
It's like, for example, if you need money, uh, you have to work to get the money,
Hmm.
right? If you get the money from some other sources, which in the money it's a bad example because you can get money for not working. But for human bodies, it's different because whatever it needs, it needs to produce itself.
Right.
So we need the three amino acids, glycine, glutamine, and cysteine, the three amino acids that we need. Two enzymes the body produces internally, and an NAD molecule for electron transfer, and two molecules of ATP, which is energy source to put those three amino acids together. All those things is required to produce one molecule of glutathione. So from the foods you eat, all you can do is put in your favorite search engine or your chat box. I said, hey, give me this three amino acid rich foods. And if you consume those foods, your body gets the building blocks
Right.
to build its own glutathione.
Right.
You cannot put in your favorite search engine box and say, hey, give me glutathione rich foods.
Right. Right.
It
Right.
doesn't, it doesn't
Yeah.
exist. It
Yeah.
doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
It's like, give me ways to make money, and they'll give you different jobs you can do to make money. But nobody's going to tell you, oh, you can just get the money by stealing something or
Right, right, right,
something.
right. Basic for eating a diet rich in amino acids, then we're good on the glutathione production. Yeah.
Yes,
So are
yes.
there things that we can do to help like boost glutathione production in the body?
So there's two things we can do. There's always more than one thing, right? There's two things we can do. One is we reduce the use of glutathione for unnecessary reasons. For example, a body uses up a lot of glutathione if you consume alcohol. So if you can refrain from drinking alcohol, maybe once a lifetime, it's kind of sad to say that part, but uh, if you can do that part, would be great because that's using up all the glutathione reserves. If you can reduce your exposure to toxins, biochemicals, pollutions, pesticides, things like that, that
Mm.
will limit the use of glutathione as well. It's not that I want you to stop living your life, but I just want you to limit your exposure to all those known toxins
Right.
that we are known to need to be eliminated from the human body. So that's
Mhm.
one way, right? Reduce the usage of glutathione so the body can keep up with the demands that it needs for the rest of your life.
Right.
The second part is that, again, we need to have a diet rich of those three amino acids that's going to enhance us the production of glutathione to the fullest extent. Besides that, we also have to look at all the insults that we bring on the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse, because without that energy source of ATP, your body's not going to put those three amino acids together, right? And so making sure that you're full of energy and that you're not eating up your mitochondria by unnecessary things like exposing yourself to toxic chemicals.
Right. Right. So by I'd say overexposing ourselves or maybe just not being mindful of this. So basically our body is using up more glutathione when it's having to break down toxins and the chemical exposure that we're putting on our body.
It is, and it's if I can talk all day long, but I'm guilty of it too. We do not want to let go of a modern day conveniences, right? And so it's what we're saying is that not you're going to avoid as much as possible,
Yeah.
but you're not going to eliminate 100%.
Sure.
It's just not possible,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is that be mindfulness,
Yeah.
be cognizant that, hey, you are using this up. Uh, and and when the time comes that there's a way to replace those glutathione reserves in your body, then if you fit the age or if you fit the criteria that you may need to replace those, then please go ahead and take those steps to replace those. Otherwise, uh, living in a dreamland where I'm going to try whatever it takes to limit my exposure to toxins, but your action doesn't speak for itself,
Right.
is going to you're going to put yourself in harm's way.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. So the detox kind of um quality that this has. There's the detoxification aspect of it, but there's other benefits too. Like I know there's some benefits that go along with like anti-aging. Can you speak to that part of glutathione? Because everybody listening wants to know how to stay young. So tell us how.
Of course. Well, the simple thing that I tell all the people is that it's a very simple concept about longevity. If you don't live longer, don't die. I mean, it's nothing more than that, right?
Right.
If you die at 50, that means you live 50 years old, right? And so the thing is, what are the causes of death? So if you think about what's the cause of death, and if I can reduce the number of cause of death, and that gives a chance of longevity. So when I say the anti-aging word itself, it's more about, can I improve your health span? If I can improve your health span, I can improve your lifespan,
Hmm.
right? But improving lifespan without health, it doesn't exist.
Hmm.
So the question that I have is that what are the top 10 causes of death in the world today? One of them is I know for a fact I cannot do anything about it, which is accidents. There's
Hmm.
nothing I can do about that one. So let's take that out of the equation. The other nine causes of death today in the world are all linked to oxidative stress. We're talking about heart disease, cancers, autoimmune conditions, and metabolic disorders, and everything else that's under the sun today are all linked to oxidative stress. Uh, Maybe 100 years ago, the number one cause of death was infections. And we have come along a long way to put sanitary conditions in every single thing that we do, right? And so today, the fear of dying of infection doesn't exist as much,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? But the fear of death because of heart disease, cancers, metabolic disorders, it still exists today because we have not figured out how to reduce oxidative stress. And to reduce oxidative stress, our body only produces one thing, which is glutathione. If there is a way to improve glutathione levels to the highest amount at all times, I don't care if you're 1 year old or if you're 100 years old, doesn't really matter. If I can have the levels at high normal at all times, there's a very good chance that the oxidative stress is under check, under control, and is not leading to end-stage diseases that we have to deal with it in later stage of your life.
Mm.
Now, the question that everybody has is that is only one thing the body produces? Well, if you look at the science, they'll tell you, well, it's just not just one thing. The body produces enzymes like glutathione peroxidase, superoxidase dismutase, catalase. These are enzymes that also helps reduce oxidative stress down. Then they have exogenous sources from outside the environment like vitamin C, vitamin E, CoQ10. You can take supplements like these ones and can help reduce oxidative stress. The results from either one of them is minuscule compared to what glutathione can do for you, which is massive.
Mm.
It's like the 80-20 rule. 80% of the problem can be solved by one product, which is glutathione.
Mhm.
The rest of the 20% of the products that the whole world is trying to sell you, oh, this thing can increase your antioxidant. Oh, that's the best antioxidant in the world. This is the most powerful antioxidant in the world. I said, no, there's only one. There's only one, which is glutathione. So, long story short, all I'm trying to say is that glutathione is probably the most popular molecule that our body produces naturally
Mhm.
to keep us live for long periods of time with a good health.
Right, right. That is, I mean, I think that what you just said is like the key takeaway because I think, of course, like there's a million products out there. There's a million different things people are talking about. Like this is going to help you live longer. This is going to help you. But for this one to have that much impact, like that much exponential impact over the others, I mean, I think that speaks for itself that this one is the most powerful way to allow ourselves, because I like what you said too about health span and lifespan. Those are connected because I
Yeah.
mean, it's you can't have one without the other. But for the glutathione to have that much impact on our health span, relative to all the other ones.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying not everything is bad, right?
Sure, yeah, just
You
not
want
as
to do
effective.
everything. Everything you got to do is effective. Uh, but if there's one thing that makes the major impact now,
Yeah,
without waiting even a single minute, which would be glutathione,
yeah.
because the results are rather instantaneous.
That is crazy. So, okay, there are, and you're talking about how our body makes it by itself, and the precursors for that. But there also, we see on the market, there's a lot of glutathione supplements. So, are there benefits of supplementing this in addition to what our body's already making?
So that's my research for the last 25 plus years. I've been working on this thing for a long, long time. And it's like every single thing, right? If there's a fountain of youth to be found, it's me who wants to find it, right? Because, unfortunately, I'm still a human being. I still have ego. I still have my needs that needs to be met. And unfortunately, that's not going to go away. I don't care who I am going to be. So I don't want to pretend to be anybody different than who I am. But at the same time, I do I do feel like that my work in this field has opened a new paradigm shift in the medical industry for
Mhm.
sure. And the reason is because when I first started my research on glutathione, I quickly found out that there's no way the body was going to accept the glutathione the way it is.
Mm,
The body does not take any glutathione supplementations and uses up to as like getting cash in your hands, right?
sure.
If I give you $10, Hope, you can take the $10 and go buy yourself a coffee, right?
Hmm.
Easy, done,
Hmm.
right? But the way it works, the body takes the $10, breaks it apart into different pieces, collects all the pieces back together, puts the money back together, $10, and then go use it up itself.
Hmm.
It will now never take the money as at the face value.
Right.
So when I was making the glutathione supplementation originally, I was making the liposome form, which is the most advanced technology 25 years ago. I used the technology to make the glutathione product. The body did not like it. Well, it used up, but it just breaks it down and then remix it again. Then I started making the intravenous form of glutathione. And by my goodness, the last 20 plus years, the IV industry, the infusion bars all over the country has just mushroomed like crazy,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
And and we started the whole movement 25 years ago. We made the highest amount of glutathione, intravenous form of glutathione back in 1999, 2000s, early on when there was nobody else making intravenous nutrient therapies at this time.
Hmm.
And like even then, I quickly found out that the glutathione, even if we infuse into the vein straight up, the body was actually breaking it down into amino acids, reabsorbing the amino acids and using those to make its own
Mm.
glutathione. So
Mm.
don't get me wrong. All the supplementation in the world, this do somewhat work because the body uses them, breaks it down, take what it needs, and rebuilds it again. The
Interesting.
example I can give you is that you have a kid. The kid is having a tantrum. Mom, I want a tree house. So what you do, you buy a tree house. The tree house comes on a truck, uh, dumps on your force on your porch, and they said, "Hey, go put this in the backyard." He goes, "It doesn't work that way." So I got the tree house. I break the whole tree house apart, take all the small pieces, go in the backyard, put the whole treehouse back together so that my daughter can enjoy it.
Hmm.
It doesn't work that way.
Hmm.
I would rather buy them in small pieces, like the furniture that comes in a box, put the whole box in the back, and assemble the one time only.
Right.
But better yet, if there's a way to put the treehouse straight in the backyard without you even touching it ever, that would be the ideal way of doing it.
Hmm.
Because then you know it's intact. There's no missing screws. Because I was doing furniture. I said, "Oh my God, one extra screw. Is it supposed to go
Where does it
someplace? Where does it
go?
go?" Right? And I was messing up. And so I said, "Okay, I'd rather put the tree house in the backyard from somebody that's already been professional who knows how to do it and it's all done correctly." And so my research has lied along, can I find a solution, of a process, a way to the body to accept the glutathione in a usable form? When I first discovered that in 2007, I thought my work was done,
Hmm.
right? I realized that there was no literature in the market. In the whole world, there was nobody that the technology never existed, and so nobody knew what to do with it. So, like everybody else, that I sat back in my desk and say, "What am I going to do now?" I have this molecule that is absorbed, is accepted by the human body, and it's ready to use. But now I got to find out all these things about it before I can release to the open public. So it took me another 13, 14 more years to try to figure out all the different ways, how much to give, how often to give, what I'm gonna see. What if the glutathione levels is too low? What if it's too high? All those things, right? Even though it's a completely inert molecule the body produces, so it's supposed to be safe and effective, but I still have to figure out all these other components out of this whole thing. And so, yes, the million plus supplements that are out there right now, zero actually gets absorbed into the system.
Really?
Zero. Not even one. I mean, I wish there was even one who come
Yeah.
remotely close, right? Until we discovered our technology. So today we have 8 patents already approved on our technology to deliver glutathione completely intact. So the product that we have, which is topical, unfortunately, it's a topical, did not use any of the traditional routes of administration like mouth
Hmm.
or injections. It happens to be topical application, but that's the only product that is actually getting absorbed and ready to use immediately.
That's crazy.
But that's the product side.
Yeah.
But you asked me a better question earlier is that besides the products, is there other ways to improve the glutathione levels? And do we really need to supplement them thing?
Right.
Again, until the age of 30, 35-ish, I would say strongly consider for everybody to look at the diet, look at the limited exposure. I know legal age to drink is 21, make it 35. I don't know. It just self-proclaimed. Just put some self-induced
Yeah.
boundaries on yourself and say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not going to drink until 35 because I know by 35 I'm going to need glutathione anyways. So I'm going to supplement them. I can
Hmm.
start drinking at that point. Anyways,
Hmm.
so um, use the amino acids, the mainly the cysteine, which is not abundantly found in your diet. If you replace those in your diet, I think the body can produce enough of this glutathione.
Hmm. On its own. And you're saying that's mind blowing because I know, everybody, especially well, actually, the two that you mentioned, the liposomal, supposed to be like, the best
I
way
know.
for your body to absorb it. And then the injections, I've had those IV, not injection, IV, the IV, vitamin or whatever it is. And everybody talks about the glutathione. We added glutathione and NAD and all these other things. So you're saying that when we're doing the liposomal or we're doing the IVs, your body's still going to break it down anyway. Like it's
They're
not,
going to break it down.
that's
They're going to break it
crazy.
down. They're going to remake it itself. Um, and that's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
The only thing that's wrong with me is that do I want to pay for it?
Right, 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 right.
Right?
Because it's right. No, I get it.
But it's easy just to consume amino acids.
Yeah, right. That's it. That's what I was about to say. It's the same as just eating whatever it is that you're eating with amino acids or drinking
There
your
you
protein
go.
shake with amino acids in it or whatever.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's the way
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
But my bigger profound question to everybody then becomes is that yes, that's good for healthy people.
Sure.
What if, what if your needs are way more than what your body can produce,
Hmm.
right? If your needs are, let's say, 1,000 micromoles per liter, which is a high normal range, but your body can only produce 500, no matter what you
Hmm.
do, you can give all the amino acids and enzymes and ATP and everything,
Hmm.
but the body can only produce up to here, but your
Hmm.
needs are way up here because your exposure to toxin is so much. The amount of metabolites you have in your liver is outrageous, or the amount of toxicity you have in your whole body is so much. The body says that there's no way I can clean this up,
Right.
right? If your needs are so high, at that time you do need supplementation. You do need to figure out a way to get this thing. And
Hmm.
today, 2025, today, we do have a solution that can do that part for the first time. And that to me is if it's not a paradigm shift in the medical industry, it should be.
Yeah,
Because
totally.
because now there is a way to do that part,
Hmm.
and it's easy to label you that you have this and this disease, and to hopefully we can treat you with some medication in the future.
Sure.
Versus, oh my God, if I can prevent from getting it worse,
Right.
right? People today have tons of money. They don't have time. They have tons of money and they want to live forever. They want to
Hmm.
travel the world. They want to
Hmm.
enjoy life.
Hmm.
And what's stopping from getting their that fulfillment done is that risk that, hey, if I overdo certain things, if I get labeled as some diseases, that's going to be the end of it. That's going to be stopping me from living my life to the fullest. And I want to do the same thing for myself personally, right? I'm 50 plus years old right now. And until I'm 90 plus, I don't want to be labeled with any, not even one disease.
Right.
And for me to do that part, I have to have my life completely clean from the get-go, right? I have to optimize my glutathione levels. I have to do whatever it takes to make sure that I don't break down my body faster than I can build up.
Right. Right. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. So your um product, the topical one, this is the one if people are looking for one that is your body's actually going to absorb, like you said, at face value, that's the topical one. This is the one that they need to look for.
That is the one,
Mhm.
unfortunately, and it and just for your audience, I want to mention this part because it's very critical for people to understand that glutathione itself is not very expensive.
Mhm.
The technology that we have created to produce the way it's supposed to be used so the body can accept it, it is super expensive. And and for me to bring the cost down to what I think the market is going to bear, I had to bring everything in-house. I had to bring the whole manufacturing plant in-house. I had to go through FDA registration processes to make sure that I am sound in what I'm making the products.
Mhm.
I had to go from start to finish. Everything that I do in-house.
Mhm.
That way, I can control each and every cost of this process to getting the product to the consumers.
Mhm.
And so now you're dealing is straight from the manufacturers to the consumers directly, no middlemen whatsoever. And that's the only way I can assure the cost can remain consistent for the longest periods of time. And that's what I
Yeah.
have done so far
Yeah.
to bring it down. Because people compare the cost of my product to other glutathione products. I said it's not even a comparison because only thing you're comparing is just the cost of glutathione.
Right.
What
Yeah,
you're
well, it's
not
not apples to apples. Yeah, it's
yeah,
not a
it's
yeah.
not even that.
Yeah.
The real cost is it's the base that we have created to deliver glutathione to the body.
Hmm.
That to me is far more expensive than glutathione can ever be. And so
Right.
that's what we have done. So the topical version, again, do not shoot me for this thing because it is what it is. I'm not a creator, I'm a scientist, right? And a scientist follow the leads. They don't create new leads. And when I was researching this glutathione, first of all, it smells like rotten eggs, which is the cysteine smell. I couldn't get rid of the smell, so
Oh
please don't
my
shoot me because the
gosh.
smell is there. The base is very, very sticky, but it needs that stickiness to actually bind to the skin so the body can actually get
Absorb it.
into absorb to
Hmm.
your skin and get it
Hmm.
inside the body.
Right.
And it happens to be topical, not oral, because oral breaks down as well.
Right. Right.
Again, I had nothing to do with it. I just let the science lead me to where the molecule wanted to go.
Yeah.
So this is where it is. It's a topical product, smells like rotten eggs, sticky as hell, but it works.
What a pitch right there.
I
Don't you
know.
want to go
It's a
use
million
it
dollar
now?
pitch. Yeah. I'm sure everybody wants to buy that right
Right,
now.
right. Sounds very appealing. No,
It
but
is.
but but really and truly, I mean the amount of research that backs it up. I mean that's all you need to know. And for me, I'm with you. I'm not a scientist, but I will follow the science, right? And the science is showing that this is this is the way it works. This is the way that your body wants to. I mean, that it is what it is. Like I think the science speaks for itself, and regardless of how you have to do it, like if you want something that works, this is it. I mean,
Unfortunately, this is it for right now. I'm
yeah,
hoping that uh, in my lifetime, I'll see something, a better delivery system in the future. But until that happens, hey, you have a way to make it work for you.
right. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And like you said, so is there? I was going to ask you about so there's no like um signs or symptoms of quote glutathione deficiency, right? So when we're
I
looking at,
know.
so you were just mentioning a second ago, like if you're someone who, your threshold is this, but your body's not absorbing it, how would one know? Like, are there signs that someone would know? Like, oh, I actually probably do need more, I need a supplement or whatever, glutathione.
And the thing is, you do not want to supplement when you need the most. You need to supplement when you think that your body's already is lacking the glutathione
So
levels.
don't wait
And
too long,
that's
basically.
and that's the hardest part
Mm-hmm.
because people like to wait until the time is
Mm-hmm.
right
Mm-hmm.
for them. And so for me is what's the wait time, right?
Sure.
How long do I want to wait for it? So in my 20-year research, what I found out is that up until the age of 30, I would say most human beings have the ability to produce enough glutathione to meet all body's needs, demands, everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the need for supplementation doesn't exist at all unless you have a condition that
Sure.
warrants supplementations. That's a
Right.
whole different story. But
Right.
these are otherwise healthy human beings with no other problems whatsoever, no spectrum disorders, nothing going on. They do not need to supplement at all.
Right.
If you keep your lifestyle the way it's supposed to be, you can even further go until 35-ish and do not need to supplement at all. Now, if I start supplementing at the age of 30, is it going to harm me? The answer is absolutely no. It's not going to harm you. But if finances is a concern which is most of the world has a concern with finances,
Hmm.
then I would like to delay as long as possible until I absolutely need it,
Right.
right?
Right.
And for me, the absolute is age of 40 is
Okay.
absolute. Between 35 to 40 is I would strongly recommend to start, right? Under the age of 35 is if you're healthy, you can get away with it. Under the age of 30, please don't do it unless you're warranted to need some.
Hmm.
And so this is what I have found out so far. The second thing I found out was the dose, because if you look at the literature, people can take anywhere from 1,000 milligrams to up to 10,000 milligrams per dose per day. And the way we have figured out, I said, no, you don't need that much. Your body can only use up that much,
Right.
right? If you need to drink 10 gallons of water in a month, you don't drink in one day, do you?
Right. It's
No,
very true.
no, no. You drink 8 glasses of water every single day for the rest
Hmm.
of your life. You don't drink everything in one day. And so, same thing with glutathione. You take a small amount, like once or twice a day, every single day. Twice a day is preferred because then it's a small amount every so often. So, body takes it, uses it up, gets a new one, uses it up, gets a
Hmm.
new one, uses it.
Hmm.
And so, there's no extra buildup. There's no storage issues. There's no toxicity issues, nothing like that. So if you use it twice a day, a very small amount, which is about 4 sprays that we found out, is all you need to maintain your glutathione levels to a high normal. Because I've seen the other side, because most of my customers right now are on the other side, where they have now been diagnosed with some disease
Hmm.
that is
Hmm.
linked to oxidative stress.
Right.
And when that happens, I can bring the oxidative stress down to zero. I can bring the disease state to where it started,
Mm.
but I cannot reverse it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so to me, that is even bigger statement to do is that whatever you do, don't ever get diagnosed with a disease. Because once you get diagnosed, there's no turning back.
Right.
I
Right.
can stop it. I can bring you in remission, so to speak,
Hmm.
right? It's not a cancer, but I can bring you
Yeah.
in some sort of it doesn't exist as of right now.
Right.
But if the conditions are correct, again, boom, it just
Yep.
comes right back,
Yep. Yep.
right? And so I don't want to ever gonna get diagnosed with any disease. Other way not to get diagnosed is don't go see a doctor. But that's not an option.
That's true. You'll never know.
You never know, right? Like I never got COVID in 4 years.
Yeah. Right. Allegedly, right?
Allegedly, because I never got tested.
That's funny. That no, that's I mean, I think that's very helpful and that's very that's good advice for people and knowing dosage and when to start and just being mindful and intentional when to look at improving their glutathione source. So thank you for that.
Yes,
This
absolutely.
is this is so enlightening and helpful and insightful. I thank you so much for your decades of research on this and bringing this to us. Can you tell everybody? I do have one more question I want to ask you. But before I ask you, can you tell everybody where they can go to look at the products that you've done all this extensive research, where they can go find all of this?
Absolutely. It's just one product, which is the Glutaril is the name of the product. Unfortunately, that's a chemical name because I couldn't come up with a better name than that. Yes, a chemist to name a product is because you put a chemical name on it.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
it.
it's Oral Wellness, AURO wellness.com. It's a website for those ladies that also wants to use the same product for your skin. We have auroskincare.com, AURO
Perfect.
skincare, same technology. That's a whole another episode by itself. With the same exact technology, I'm taking the whole skincare industry uh, by the horn as
I
well.
love it.
I'm not sure if I'm going to succeed or not. I need a lot of women to help me get there, but I'm making my headwinds over there as well at this
I love
point.
it. That's
But yeah,
great.
support me by joining the newsletter because I do spend a lot of time and effort on educating my customer base. Because God knows nobody needs another product. What they need is more education.
Exactly. I totally agree. I love that. And I love that that's a high value for you. So thank you for that. Okay, and of course the links to all that y'all will be in the show notes. So y'all go check the show notes and get on the newsletter and start learning. I love this. Okay, last question that I want to ask you that I ask everybody. What do you think is the most important thing you can do to live with purpose?
Ah, for me, uh, I do have a purpose in life, and for me to live that purposeful life, I really, really have to make sure that I think about it every single day. And to ensure that happens every single day, I meditate.
Hmm.
I do have meditations. I do have thoughtfulness, thinkfulness, time alone for myself. And the main purpose for me is about education, and that comes from finding grateful things that I'm grateful about on a daily basis.
Hmm.
Simple stuff, right? Mindfulness, gratefulness, gratitude, and all. I combine all those things into my meditations every morning.
Hmm.
So that's what my practice is, and I hope I never forget that doing that.
Yeah, I love that. I am a huge proponent of meditation, so I love that you said that. I love that answer. Thank you so much, Dr. Patel. This was so great. And I know that there's a lot of women out there that are going to find this super helpful for whatever they're dealing with right now in their bodies. So thank you for your research and your dedication to this. And I'm excited to see what else you uncover for us. So thank you.
Thank you very much.